What is up, folks, and welcome back to another video with Zip Hearing. In today's video, we are going to dip our toes into the waters of domes and custom molds. But before we do so, if you would like to know more about my journey with hearing loss and how I came to choose the hearing aids that I chose, go ahead, click on that. Furthermore, if you would like to know more about Zip Hearing, maybe look up some hearing aids, check out some pricing, go ahead, click on that link. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a quickie, a little bit of a discussion video. We are going to be talking about domes versus molds. First, we're going to talk about what they are, we're going to talk about who they're for, and finally, we're going to show you some of the examples that I have and why I chose the ones that I did. So let's start with the easy ones, domes. Domes are usually going to look something like this. They're going to come in multiple shapes and sizes and materials and colors based off of the manufacturer. But essentially they are going to do the same thing. It is the piece that is going to attach to the end of the receiver and go inside your ear canal. The type of dome that your audiologist or hearing specialist will recommend is directly based upon your level of hearing loss. Some domes are going to be more open and have more openings to allow natural sound to flow into your ear canal, while others are going to close off your ear canal entirely and really make the hearing aid do all of the work. On top of that, most domes are going to come in different sizes. And these sizes are going to be used to fill up the space in a person's ear canal. The larger the ear canal, the larger the size of the dome. Another term you may hear when we talk about these domes is something called venting. Venting refers to the amount or size of holes in the dome that will allow natural sound to flow into the ear. So let's talk about some benefits of these domes. For one, they're fairly universal, so they are going to be the easiest pieces to get a hold of. You may even receive a pack of them with your hearing aids upon purchase. They are usually some sort of a softer silicone material and are meant to kind of conform to the unique pieces and parts of someone's ear canal. With them being so universal, it is very easy to replace them if they needed to be replaced. For example, if one were to rip and break, you would just pull it off and pop on a new one. Or if they get a little dirty, or maybe you misplaced one or it fell off of your hearing aid, boop, just pop on another one. Another benefit to these type of domes is that they will appeal to a much larger audience in terms of hearing loss. As we talked about earlier, they will come in different shapes and sizes with different types of venting or holes in those pieces. So if you had a more mild hearing loss, maybe an open dome is something that would be appropriate. If you had a more severe hearing loss, a closed off dome would probably be the way to go. In addition, because domes are not custom made and they're not specific to a person, they are much easier to replace in terms of cost. There are not many downsides to domes. They are fairly universal, they come in many different shapes and sizes, and can benefit many different kinds of hearing loss. However, there are some people that these domes may not be appropriate for. For example, the amount of venting someone may need may fall in between these levels of domes. The open dome may be too open and be allowing too much noise to enter the ear, whereas a tulip style dome may be too closed and may lead to the feeling of occlusion or may not benefit the user. Additionally, sometimes the physical restrictions of the ear do not allow for the proper use of these domes. If the user has a very particular shape of ear canal, a dome may not be able to be used. Furthermore, if the user has a particularly small ear and ear canal or a particularly large ear and ear canal, a dome may not physically fit inside the ear. And this is where the world of custom molds comes into play. Custom molds are exactly what they sound like. They are molds made of your ear and ear canal, made custom for you. So these are not universal by any means. They will only fit you, and that's it. What are the benefits of custom molds? Custom molds are made to fit your ear and your ear canal, so the fit is going to be perfect. Nothing is going to be too big, nothing is going to be too small, because it was molded from your ear. Most people find that custom molds are actually a little bit more comfortable than domes, strictly because it fits like a glove. There will usually not be any form of hot spots or places of discomfort, because everything is molded and shaped to fit inside your ear perfectly. So if the user has some sort of unusual ear canal shapes or geometry, a custom mold is going to be a very, very, very good option. Custom ear molds are also a very good choice for people with more severe hearing loss. Because the hearing aid is going to be putting in a lot of work to supply sound to your ear, the volume is going to be increased. And if the person were to use a dome, there is a chance that with that increased volume, it could lead to whistling or feedback. With a custom-made ear mold, the likelihood of that feedback occurring is going to be much less. And finally, because of the custom shape, it is going to prevent most outside noise from reaching your ear canal, which is going to isolate the signal that the hearing aid is providing to your ears. And in doing so, will make the hearing aid more effective. Now that we have talked about domes and custom molds, I would like to take some time and show you 2 sets of my custom molds. You may be wondering why I have 2 sets. Why is there a need for that? The answer is pretty simple. One set is used for my Activent receivers, and the other molds are used for a more traditional style receiver. The cool thing is that they are made out of 2 different materials and have 2 different purposes, so I'm going to be able to show you some of the options that are available if you are looking for custom molds. So what we're going to talk about here first are the molds that I had made for my Activent receivers. You can see that they are gray, and the reason they are gray is because they are made out of titanium. This is what we call a seashell type mold. You can see here that there is a little pull tab to easily remove the mold from my ear canal, and the receiver sits inside the seashell. These molds are designed to sit fairly deep within the ear canal and are meant to be invisible when people are looking at your ears. Your custom molds may be smaller or larger or a different shape and size than mine, and that is okay because that just means your ear is different than mine. And right off the bat, you can see that my second pair of ear molds is drastically different from the other pair. These are made out of an acrylic material that is clear. They do still have a pull tab so they can be easily removed from the ear, and there is a receiver that sits inside of the mold. Yes, these are not connected to hearing aids because I am currently not using these. I am using my Activent receivers. They are color-coded, blue and red, to differentiate between the 2 ears. Now, what is interesting about these is that these have venting built into the mold. So just because you have a custom mold does not mean you cannot have venting built into the mold. Both of these molds have venting, and that was designed and calculated by my hearing specialist. So now that I've shown you the 2 kinds of ear molds that I have, let's talk about how I got to this point and why it worked for me. My hearing loss is fairly mild, so I was not recommended an ear mold custom made for me by my hearing specialist. In fact, for quite a long time, I used my hearing aids just with standard open domes. However, my first experience with custom molds was not for a reason to adjust my hearing experience. I wanted to try these Activent receivers, which would make streaming music and audio sound way better. And in order to use these Activents, I had to have a custom mold made. So I had a mold made of my ear, I had my titanium seashells made for my Activent receivers, and started using them. And then I started to notice that my biggest issue, which is not being able to hear things in loud, noisy environments, that problem seemed much less significant when I was using my custom molds. And then I started to think, why was my experience better with the custom molds than the open domes. And I came to a conclusion. I think the open domes were allowing too much noise to come into my ear, and the hearing aids weren't able to overcome that noise with the signal they were providing. With the custom molds and the Activent, that excessive outside noise was now being reduced due to the smaller venting. And the hearing aid was having less difficulty providing the sound that I needed. So in that situation, the custom mold that was not recommended to me actually seemed to be a benefit in the long run. Granted, that is for my particular case. It may not apply to everyone, and it probably will not apply to everyone, but for me, that is what worked out. The second set of molds that are made out of acrylic and are see-through, those were made for me because I wasn't going to use the Activents anymore. I wanted to try to go back to a standard receiver, but I knew that if I had to use those open domes, I was really going to struggle. So I had these custom molds made for a standard receiver with some venting built in and had a very, very good experience. The only reason they are not back on the hearing aids at the moment is because I went and revisited the Activent because I loved the streaming audio quality. If you are interested in learning more about custom molds, learning more about options of domes, go ahead, visit Zip Hearing, check out the website, give Zip Hearing a call and discuss some of the options that are available to you with your hearing aids. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video, little quickie on domes and molds and how they work, what they are, and who they're for. We truly appreciate you guys watching these videos and leaving comments. So if you would continue to leave some comments down below, ask some questions. Also, let us know, what videos do you want to see, and we'll try and make that happen. And if you could please give us a thumbs up, like the video, and subscribe. Subscribing to the channel truly helps us make more content for you guys so you can learn more about the things you use every day, and it just really helps us out. Finally, I have been Nick. You have been great. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.